Krishna Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta Swami Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Vishesha Shunivadi Paschati Deshatari. Very good. Oh boy. See, now nobody's legs are kinked anymore. They just sat for 2 hours doing japa. So, yeah. Now we could use some fan. Before it was a little too cool, but just low so they don't get chilled. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So, actually, we had planned to talk about the whole India thing this morning, but unfortunately Indira couldn't get off of work. There was some training or some function that she had to attend. So unfortunately she's not here to brief us on her engagement. Y'all can sit a little bit closer, you know. I don't bite until later on in the day. But I would like to have a little community meeting so that everybody kind of is, you know, up to speed on what's happening in case anyone doesn't know or if there's any confusion, which is quite possible because we've only been communicating on the internet. So, yeah, as you all know, we're going to India. That's our next adventure monk expedition. And you might say, well, why did you leave Chile, and go to India? And, you know, really, Chile is a wonderful place. How's that? Chile is a wonderful place, and the environment is especially pristine and amazing. I mean, we were living at the edge of a town, which is like a major tourist destination. The place is just overrun with tourists in the summer. But we were there during the winter. The seasons are reversed, so now it's winter there. And we have a hose, a plastic pipe, that goes up the hill from the house we were staying at. And there's just a little catchment basin, you know, a little plastic filter thingy in the creek up the hill, and that's where we get our water from. And this water was so good. I mean, it was so fresh, and it was just perfect. And there was no problem with, you know, disease or anything like that. The environment there is so nice, so pristine. The problem is the culture. The culture in Chile, how to say it nicely? They're Dullsville, man. You know, they're just not ready for devotional service to Krishna. So, I mean, we could stay there and we would probably do okay. You know, but we would always be isolated from the surrounding culture. The people around us would never really understand what we're trying to do. And, you know, like there's a small group of Tibetan monks there. And they've been there for 20 years or more. And they are like, you know, like there's a few people who get it and like hang out with the monks and do some of the meditations and stuff. But there's a lot more people who are just like, you know, monks, you know, that's weird. And there are a few devotees there, but most of them are like very, very low level and, you know, involved in politics and organizational stuff. And, you know, there just wasn't really any interest from the local people in what we have to offer, which is, you know, high, even by devotee standards. So after considering everything and the little amount of time that we have left, we felt that the best move was to go somewhere where there are nice devotees and where our culture and our activities would be understood or even welcomed by the surrounding community. and more than that, where there would be a lot of pious activities so that any earth changes or anything like that would have a minimum impact on the location that we're at. So after looking at everything, we decided, okay, South India. South India has more devotees per square inch than any other place on earth, actually practicing devotees. In North India, there are a lot of devotees too, but a lot of them are just external devotees, you know, on the religious platform. Whereas in South India, you know, you have a very strong tradition of chanting the holy name, especially Vishnu Sahasranam, and very many nice temples, you know. Still the Brahminical tradition is very strong, has not broke down so much like it has in North. And besides, astrologically, North India is going to get trashed. We just had a solar eclipse on 21st of July, and the path of totality began just off the coast of North India and went about 400 kilometers north of Mumbai, and then on up through Nepal and into China. And China already got trashed. They're having a pneumonic plague in central China, and there's been like a couple of bad earthquakes and typhoons, and you know, whew. Of course, China is such a big place that, you know, something's always happening. But still, there are almost as many people in India as China now, and they've remained relatively free from real serious problems up till now. But of course, that's not going to last. There's still going to be a lot of problems, but most of them are going to be in North India. And as I like to say, there are places in South India where basically nothing has changed in hundreds or even thousands of years. And there were villages, last time I was in South India, we went to places where there had never been a motor vehicle, ever. You know, I mean, maybe they saw a plane flying overhead. That was about the closest they got to any kind of, you know, horseless carriage. So we want to be, or at least have access to, places like that, where basically nothing ever happens. That's the best place to be when everything gets crazy. You want to find the most boring place possible. But we also want a place where there are compatible cultural values, where we as sadhus would be welcome and understood, and, you know, get support from the surrounding community. Because to get through a big time of problems like this, 2012, requires a community. You can't do it, even as a family-size unit, would be very difficult to get through it. You need a whole community where everybody can work together and cooperate. So anyway, that's why we chose to go to India, specifically South India. And then there's another side of all of this, which is the university program that Indira is working on. And Indira, I don't know how many of you know, is a, well, what is she exactly? Student Affairs Coordinator or something like that? Yeah. At a very prestigious Southern Illinois University at Urbana-Champaign, which is a model campus for a lot of things. A lot of institutions follow their lead. They're really, you know, on the cutting edge. And there's a lot of interest in India for her to import her skills into India and share them, because, well, the way she put it is, right now there's really no faculty or staff improvement programs in India in the universities. You know, I don't know how they expect to get high quality staff. So anyway, she would be very, very valuable there. And I remembered a typical or a previous moment in my own career when I was in her position. And what I did is I became a consultant. So I've suggested this to her, that she should become a consultant, not an employee of a university, but a consultant and a content provider. That she has an MBA program that she has designed for higher education administration. And she can license this program, not to just one university, but to a number of universities. And that way, our program, our University of Higher Knowledge program, would come in along with this as part of the Student Affairs program. And our rationale for that is that Indian graduates are more employable and more valuable in their organizations because of their cultural background. And we've been over all this before, that when you have a big extended family, you learn how to have relationships with all kinds of different people. Not just people your age or people who are similar in taste or economic background or whatever, but all kinds of people. And this is extremely valuable working in any kind of organization, because of course there's going to be a big